Shemai. Today we've been out for a bit of an evening walk and we've come across this lovely patch of Ramsons or wild garlic. Now, the name wild garlic is said to come from the Old English, the Old English word ransom, which actually meant wild garlic because of the smell. Now, we could smell it long before we could see it. The scent totally fills the air. But the Latin name ursinum comes maybe from, because ursinum means bear, from the fact that bears that used to exist in this country about 1500 years ago would come and seek out the bulb to eat. And actually there's another common names for them is the bear leek or bear garlic. Whether they did actually like to hunt out and eat the bulbs is another thing, I don't know. So this is a really common plant and you'll find it in lots of places. You'll see it in woodlands and hedgerows and shady meadows, and as we've got here, right next to a stream. Now it's an ancient woodland indicator, and behind the camera over there is an ancient woodland, so to find it here is no real surprise. And like I say, we could smell this long before we could see it. The scent, it really does fill the air. But what you'll find is that once it's all in flower, it can become really pungent. And once the wild garlic and the flowers go over, it can actually be not quite such a pleasant smell. But we're going to take a closer look at this now. So we're down closer to the wild garlic now. There's the flower head there, but we'll look at the leaves first. Now the leaves are quite obvious. You can see this colony here is quite large, and it will spread like this, and the leaves are quite big really. They're about 6 to 25 centimeters long, and they come from a curved stem which is about 5 to 20 centimeters long. Now the stem, it's quite tricky to see there, but you might be able to see it against my hand. You can actually see that it's quite sharply angled. I can't say it's almost like a triangle shape as it comes up there. And this all comes up in spring. It appears now it's an ideal time sort of, these have been growing, I would say probably sort of February, March time, and now we're into April. They're starting to flower. And then they'll die down by about midsummer. Now the flowers, which is what we've been waiting for, they appear between April and June. They're loose and they're flat. You can just about see there. And there's about 6 to 20 individual white flowers on them. And underneath, you can just see, similar really in a way to daffodils. They've got like this papery sheath underneath. And each one of those lovely little flowers there, I don't know if we can just separate one flower out. One of those little flowers has 6 petals, which forms almost like a star shape. And then they will turn into, the fruit, which is like a 3-lobed capsule. So the Ramsons flower, like we say, around about this time spring, and they can grow, the plant themselves can grow to about 10 to 50 centimetres tall. Now the flowers, because it flowers quite early, again, it's a really good source of pollen for bees and other pollinators. And like I say, if they were bears still in this country, they say the bulbs would have been a good source of food for bears. Now it's got quite a lot of uses, as the name suggests. Garlic, it's an edible plant, and it's really quite easy. I'm always very cautious when it comes to edible things, but this smells very strongly, and it is an easy one to identify. Now, it can be eaten raw or cooked. It can be eaten in salads, where it's chopped or added to soups and stews and sauces, and it has this kind of mild garlic flavour. It can also be used as a garlic substitute. However, like I say, it is an easy one to spot. It is an easy one to identify, but it can be confused when it's not flowering with lily of the valley, which is poisonous. But the garlic smell on this is really quite distinctive, whereas lily of the valley doesn't have that smell. Now, it has been used also in medicine, and it's been used for a loss of appetite or sort of digestive disorders, but it's also said to be an antioxidant and an antiseptic. Now, these days, like I say, because it's edible, it's quite sought after by gourmet cooks and posh restaurants, but actually, going back to the old days, it was used by common folk just as normal cooking and food. And it was said that now in Anglo-Saxon the name for March was Lyde, and there was a saying that said, "Eat leeks in Lyde and Ramsons in May, and all the year after physicians may play." So it was believed that actually this would keep you healthy. If you ate leeks and you ate Ramsons, then it would actually keep you healthy. So there was an old belief that it was good for you, and it did have medicinal properties. It's also said that the smell of it will repel cats. Now, I'm not sure why you would want to repel cats and keep them away, but apparently that's what it does. So there we go, Ramsons. I think probably important to note that it is R-A-M-S-O-N-S, Ramsons, not ransoms, as some people say, or more commonly, wild garlic. Like I say, a really easy one to find, a really easy one to sort of detect by the smell. And again, it is safe to eat, it is good for cooking and for eating. So there we go. Like I say, whether you want to try and encourage bears into your garden or repel cats, it's a great one to go out and find. So good luck.